He could be a horrible human being, and you're thinking because he puts a wink smiley face at the end that he likes you and that that's okay. I have this theory that if texting was invented first and then we invented an actual phone, people would be like, wow, there's this really new thing where you can call somebody and you hear their voice and you can talk to them like right away. You don't have to wait for them to respond. It's amazing. Because I mean, actually, if you think about it, talking to somebody on the phone is a little bit more advanced than writing them on a keypad.
And it takes more effort, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Calling someone and actually talking to them and making it, actually having a tone, not, because texting is monotone. When you think it's just a monotone, I can be, you know, texting someone and say smiley face, but I could really be like, fuck off, you know, really, I don't even care about this bitch, you know what I'm saying?
It's entirely shallow. It's very, very vapid. I wish people called more. I wish people talked on the phone more. I wish people came over and like visited in person more, and you actually like went on walks and communicated face to face. But we don't really do that. So I would settle for talking on the phone. That might be because of my own personal bias, because I find that, you know, like, oh, I can be witty on the phone and I can be charming and, you know, so on and so forth. And on text message, that's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Really dry sort of sense of humor, and a lot of times on text message that doesn't translate, and people are like, God, she's such a bitch. I'm like, no, I was kidding, I swear. I was just joking, but you don't get it. Well, and if you think about it, let's say there's husband and wife, they're married, they had, you know, husband goes off to work, wife goes off to work, they're texting throughout the day saying like, you know, this is what I did today, da-da-da. When they get home, they don't have anything to talk about, because as far as they're concerned, they already covered it. And if they have a conversation, okay, honey, well, let me tell you, this happened, we had a patient come in and went into cardiac arrest, it's, you know, they're like, well, you already told me, you texted me about it, I already know. Constant communication, but it's not a legitimate form of communication. There is something wrong with being too available to somebody, and especially if it's available in that sort of superficial, on the surface level. I mean, you can't have a deep, intense conversation through text message. It's impossible. Parents and kids, that's their whole day's worth of communication is through text message. So when they get home, they're like, oh, well, I already talked to you. When it's like, no, you really didn't.
Overload of technology. It's overload, you know. Technology is great, like I said, I love it. It's easy, it's simple, but eventually it's just going to take over. And I don't think, you know, robots coming and killing everyone because we're killing each other and they need to take control or else we're going to wipe ourselves out. That's bullshit. That's retarded. That's just Hollywood. But I think an overload of technology is going to rewrite how our brains work, really, you know.
I don't know. It's like hard to think about because, like, what problems have we not already seen, you know, with immigration, with war, with all that stuff, healthcare, I mean, we've pretty much seen it all. I mean, they're just going to continue to happen, but what happens when we run out of, like, oil in the world? Like, is the world going to convert to, like, more green lifestyle, or, I don't, that's one thing. Like, when technology advances so much that, like, our lifestyle changes, like, we don't have to go to school, we don't have to drive ourselves and stuff like that. We could teleport places, you know, then there might be some problems, but I mean, for like modern day, we've pretty much seen it all, I think.
Well, I mean, if the economy doesn't get better, things are really pretty bad right now. It's not a depression, and like I've been in econ, she said that recessions happen all the time and stuff. Like, I don't know, I guess like being in one that's so bad right now, like you just see so many people affected by it and all these homes going into foreclosure that like, I'm sure it freaks people out. Like, what if you just lost your home? What do? You have kids, you have, like, all these people bought all these houses and, like, you thought, like, oh, yeah, it's a nice house, and, like, all of a sudden they lost their job. Like, what do you do then? You can only collect unemployment, and, like, even unemployment, like, isn't that much. Like, it's not your salary. So hopefully, I mean, the economy gets better. Other problems.
You said something about, eco-friendly and, you know, cars and stuff. Like, what's going on with the Earth, you think? Like, what do you think's gonna happen, like, with that? Like, do you think we're basically destroying ourselves? Like, I mean, or do you think that's just a myth? Like, no, we have plenty of resources, like...
No, we definitely don't have plenty of resources. I think we have plenty of resources to last us our lifetime. So people right now don't really care. Like,
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm probably going to be dead in a couple of years, or well, not a couple of years, but like...
Yeah, a couple days. I'm gonna do some cocaine and get on a cocaine binge. Some heroin.
Whatever, I'm just done. This is taking 6 minutes of so, hey,
Yeah.
fuck you, world.
Yeah.
Like, no. No, I think, no, we are running out of resources. But yeah, like I said, it's not going to affect our... I mean, it might not even affect our kids. Like, it might affect their kids. So, like, until it's... Like, I feel like people don't deal with problems until it's happening. So, if it's not going to happen, like, tomorrow, like, no one gives a fuck. Like, I'm going to use the resources that we have now. Like, because, I mean, think of, like, when gas prices go up. Like, you still need to buy gas. Like, it's not like you're not going to buy... How are you going to get to work? Like, you're going to find a way to pay for gas, even if it's on your credit card.
You're not going to go on strike with gas.
Yeah, no one is. So, like, and the reason prices go up is, I don't know.
That's another whole political story.
Where do I start? I think that if you're talking in terms of technology, it'd be really wonderful if people got less dependent on it. And it stopped being about how many friends do you have on Facebook. I mean, used to be people with 600 friends on Facebook, and you know that they're not actually... I used to have 600 friends. I know. Most of those people, like, I didn't even know. I'd go through my friends list and I'd be like, who was that? Did I meet them once? And so I think that technologically it'd be nice if people stopped thinking that that's what they had to do. A guy doesn't have to text a girl to talk to her. You don't have to Facebook your friends to remain in contact with them. You know, I think that that'd be really, really nice. But another thing is I think that we need to stop being so judgmental of each other. Just when we do actually communicate. I mean, how often do you hear somebody say, oh, that person's a bitch, or that person's a slut, and you're not really saying anything about anybody. You can call anybody a slut, or a bitch, or a dick, and it doesn't actually mean anything. How often do you hear, like, oh, well, I just really don't think that she's a good person. I think that she lies, and I think she's really manipulative. When that says so much more than just being like, oh, that's skank.
But yes, if there is some saving grace for our society, if there is something that we could do that would make things better and lead us in the right direction, it's taking responsibility. It's taking account for your own actions, you know, and that's been said so many times, but there's a reason it's been said so many times, because it is damn true, you know. So.
I think one of the biggest issues, I don't know, I'm just saying this off the top of my head, like, because it's something I was thinking about today, like from watching the news, is that people are really disconnected, and they don't really have any room to accept other people. Like, someone who has different beliefs than you, you automatically hate them because they're different. But, like, we need to realize that everyone's different, and everyone has different beliefs and different experiences, and, like, people are different because they experience the world in a different way, and I think we really need to understand that in order to get along with each other. Like, we can't judge people for believing something when we believe something that those people would judge us for. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but, like,
it does.
One example would be, like, other religions, like the Muslim radicals that are doing crazy shit in the Middle East that we hate them for. We hate them because they're doing things that we don't believe are right. But in their minds, in their society, and what they've experienced, what they believe, that's right for them. And they hate us because of what we believe. Like, it goes back and forth, and it's pointless. Because everyone's always going to be different. There's always going to be, like, discrepancies in our beliefs between people. And we just need to learn how to deal with it and not turn to hatred. And
and
that leads into another problem, is that in our society, a lot of people expect, well, a lot of times we're expected to be a certain kind of person. We're expected to believe the same things as everyone else. We're expected to do the same things with our lives. Like, our generation, we're expected to go to school, go to college, get a good job that pays, get married eventually. I mean, that's not as big of an issue. Like, marriage is getting pushed back a lot now. But, like, still, like, we have all these societal expectations that everyone is supposed to live up to, and it's really unrealistic because not everyone fits that mold. Not everyone wants to do the same thing that everyone else is doing because it's not, may not be right for them.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to, like, go live in the mountains and, like, I don't know, explore, write a book or something, like, like
grow some food, like go and be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to college to live.
No,
I
don't,
mean,
like, everyone thinks that, I mean, technically, in our society, you have to have an education to be successful, but, like, our idea of success is really skewed.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to have a good job, like, a high-paying career for the rest of your life to be happy. Like, if I had that, I would probably be very unhappy, because I'm not the kind of person that can go to work 9 to 5 every fucking day and do the same thing. Like,
yeah.
I have to have something different and something fulfilling.
Yeah.
And something that, like, is me, not something that's what they expect me to be. That's another problem with our society.
Yep.
We're all egotistical and think that we are the shit because
Yeah.
we live in America and we have all these things, but you don't need those things.
Yep.
They're so unnecessary in every way, and, like, people just forget
Yeah.
what life is about because we have all these material things that they
Yeah.
don't need. Honestly, I think if we got bombed, like, if they bombed, like, all the most important things to America, it'd be good for us.
Yes.
Because we would rethink our lives and what we're doing, and,
Yeah.
like, we would adjust. We're humans, we're animals, like, our
Yeah.
basic instinct is to live.
Yeah.
And people are just getting away from that, because right now, people think that their main purpose in life is to have as many friends as possible, and do all these great things, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so absurd. I
Yeah.
think people just have the wrong idea of what life is.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are unhappy with what they're doing, but they keep doing the same thing. So
So yeah,
you have
they
to be
need to change.
responsible for yourself. If you're not happy, figure out why you're not happy and change something to make yourself happy. It doesn't happen in a day, obviously. Like, life is a gradual process. That's why
Yeah.
old people are so wise.
Yes.
But you don't
That-
have to be old to be wise.